Alright, you currently are watching video E4.p2-2, which is the atmosphere lab. Alright, the purpose of this is to give you a perspective about the different layers, where they're located, and some of the things that are found within each of the layers. So this will kind of piggyback and also help to kind of emphasize some of the points that you had in the reading that you just completed regarding the different layers of the atmosphere. Okay, so a couple things that you're going to need for this. Okay, the first is it says collect the lab materials from myself or Mr. Fusak, and the two things that you're going to need are color pencils and you're going to need a ruler. As far as number of color pencils, I would tell you that a minimum of probably 5, maybe 6 would be necessary to complete this. As far as a ruler goes, just a simple 12-inch ruler will do just fine. Okay, what you're going to do, or what you're going to start off by doing, is you're going to graph the temperature from the data table onto the graph. So as you go to page 2, you will see that the data table is located here on the right hand side, and then you will see that the temperature is listed on the left, and then the height is on the right. Okay, the height, as you see, is actually smack dab right in the middle. So this is going to be your height, your y-axis. Your x-axis is going to be the temperature. And notice that the temperature has both temperatures on the left and also on the right. And the reason why the left is because these are the ones that are below 0 degrees Celsius, and the ones over here on the right are the ones that are above 0 degrees Celsius. So your first step is going to be to physically graph all of these data points. Okay, and when it's all said and done, you're going to have a graph that will probably look something like, it's going to zigzag and move all over the place. Again, this is just a general freelance one, but by the time you plot them, it's going to look something similar to that. Alright, once you've actually graphed the information, the next part will be to use the information to label the different layers. So you're going to take that color pencil, one of them, and you're going to label the different layers. The layers, again, the 5 that we're asking you to label: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and then the exosphere. The ionosphere is listed here, and if you want to include that, feel free, but the ionosphere is actually inside of the thermosphere. Okay, so just as a general purpose. Once you've labeled the different layers, then it'll be next to move on, where you're going to then select a color for each of the layers. Okay, so you'll pick a color for the troposphere, you'll pick a color for the stratosphere, and then the mesosphere, thermosphere, and exosphere. You'll pick each of those colors, and you're going to shade in the diagram based upon where each of those layers are located. So in the end, you'll have something that will look like, let's say, this. You'll have a layer which is in green, and then you'll have a layer which is in, let's say, orange, and then you'll have a layer which is, because there are multiple layers, so you may have a layer which is fairly thick, so you have a layer there, another layer. So all in total you'll have 5 different layers, and those layers will be labeled with which one belongs to which. So for example, the one that's closest to Earth, right down here in this area right here, would be what? And then the second, then the third, then the fourth, and then the one that's farthest away from Earth's surface. Okay, once you've done that, then it'll be time to move on to the next part, which is going to be write the main properties of each layer. So what is found in each of these layers? So now you're going to have, on this graph, you're going to have the different layers colored, you're going to have them labeled, and then a property, something that's found within each of those layers to identify it. Once you've done that, the last but not least of them all is to answer the atmosphere questions. The atmosphere questions, there are 4 of them. You'll see 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those 4 questions answer in the space that's provided. Should you have any questions, do not hesitate to let us know.